everybody, it's me Marcy in my own kitchen today. I'm just about to make supper for my family. I'm going to make one of our very favorite meals, which also happens to be the fastest meal that I know how to make. It's ready in 18 minutes. Well, it has an 18-minute cooking time, and it takes about 3 minutes to put together. So I'm going to show you how I do that. It's the sheet pan burgers. So in my 20 years as a Pampered Chef consultant, I've been an avid stoneware user, and I haven't even owned a metal pan until just recently, and I'm starting to think that I was missing out. So we have sheet pans in 3 sizes, in medium, large, and in half sheet pan size. And the large is the size of a stoneware bar pan, but the half sheet is actually a measurement they use in commercial kitchens and bakeries. If you order a sheet cake, it'll come, you know, it's huge, and half sheet is half of that, and a quarter sheet is a quarter of that. So those are actual sizes for industrial pans. So our half sheet is the largest of the sheet pans that we have. And so here's the difference really. If you look, the large bar pan, it's quite a bit bigger than the large bar pan. And for that reason, I'm able to cook a whole entire meal on this one pan, the vegetables and everything. And then we serve it off the pan, and I have one pan to clean up. We're gonna make the sheet pan burgers. So I'm gonna start with a half a pack of ground beef from Superstore. This is the lean, not the extra lean. I'm gonna mix it right here in the little tray that it comes in. We're gonna put on 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. So I'll just carefully measure that out. And if you're using table salt, you'll use less, about, I don't know, a teaspoon and a half instead of 2. And then we want a teaspoon of garlic powder. And this is my parents' homegrown garlic powder, so that's way more than a teaspoon, I know, but that is my relationship with garlic. And then we need about a half a teaspoon of pepper. Or that much. Okay, so now the secret to good burgers is to not overmix them. So just like when I'm just using my fingertips to press that all down in, and that's gonna mix. I'll be able to see when the spices are incorporated, and then it'll be done. Now it's kind of like pastry. If you overmix pastry, all the shortening, you know, you want it to stay in kind of little lumps, so that when you're baking it, those lumps can sort of melt away and you have this light flaky crust. The same goes with burgers. You want the fat to stay sort of unincorporated, so that when it shrinks away, you have a nice light burger. You don't want to have anything that's overworked. So stirring it too much, definitely don't ever put it in your KitchenAid or anything like that. If you whip it too much, it's gonna take a very different consistency. Okay, so that's pretty good there, and I'm gonna make 8 burgers. So I'll just divide, you know, I'll just divide it. And then I always make a thumb hole in the center, because your burger is gonna as it steams, it's going to kind of get taller and skinnier, so that will prevent it from becoming just a giant lump. So we're gonna cook everything all at once, and a couple of us enjoy fried onions on our burgers and a couple of us don't. So I know I'm gonna need 4 slices of onions to accommodate those people, so I'll go about ½ an inch thick. Maybe just under ½ an inch. So 4 slices, and that goes on the pan just wherever they fit. And then the last thing we need for our pan is jalapenos. So, do you cook with jalapenos ever? I'm gonna be honest, I use mild salsa. I don't like hot food at all, but when you cook them this way, they're not hot at all. So the jalapeno peppers have a really nice sweet flavor if you roast them and take the seeds out. Do you know how to buy a jalapeno? So bell peppers have no heat in them at all, just green peppers. And then you can buy just a little bit of heat. There's poblano peppers or Anaheim peppers. Those are about the same. They hardly have any heat at all, but they have a bunch of nice flavor in them. And they're longer, and they're just bigger. They're, you know, about that big. And then you can get jalapenos are next. And so they are, I don't know, they're about the length of my thumb or a little bit longer. They're kind of plump and they're not too terribly tight. I can feel that there's room in there around the seeds for me to squeeze, okay? Because if you get one smaller than this and it's much tighter than this, that's a serrano pepper. And now we're starting to talk about really hot peppers, okay? So serrano is a little bit hotter than this. It looks very similar, it's just tighter. And then even smaller than that would be a chili pepper. So just know that the bigger the pepper, the less heat that it's gonna be, but that they all have really great flavor. So I'm taking off the ends of 3 peppers here, and I'm gonna cut them in half. So you're gonna wanna be careful to not touch the insides of a pepper, because for hours, that heat stays in your skin, and if you rub your eyes or if you touch a cut or something, you're gonna know it, even for hours. So what I do is I just put my hand in the bag that the peppers came in, and then I dig out the seeds. Okay, so they're not hot at all once you take out the seeds and roast them. Okay, so these now go just wherever I can fit them on the pan, in and around everything. And really this takes 18 minutes at 425, but you'll know it's done when the bacon is cooked, really. That's pretty much how to tell. All right, so that's all there is to it, but how does that look? A whole pan of a whole dinner on one pan. Now, a couple of us will have them on buns, but the rest of us will have them on lettuce. Have you ever made lettuce crowns for buns? I'm going to show you how. If you were to cut lettuce with a chef's knife, for instance, the edges would brown almost before you eat it. But when I do it with the bread knife, I can cut lettuce, I could cut the whole head and put it through my salad spinner and put it in a Ziploc bag in the fridge, and we can eat it tomorrow and the next day, and it isn't turning brown. So all I want to do is to take a kind of a steak, like a slice off the end here. So that's about how big I made it. And what I'm going to do is take 2 or 3 layers. Okay, and that will act as one bun, and then I'll take 2 or 3 more layers, and that'll act as the top bun. So now we've got perfect buns for our no bread burgers. This can all be done in advance and stashed in the fridge. So if you want to put this together before work and put it in the fridge, then you can come home and get it in the oven, and really before you've even changed your clothes and much else, you can have supper on the go. So the last thing I want to show you is the sauce that goes on top. So it's 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. No, it's 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And then it is 1/2 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Not that much. And then it's a tablespoon of sriracha. About a tablespoon. And then the recipe actually asks for a teaspoon of sugar or a sugar substitute, which I don't use. It doesn't need to be sweetened at all. So we've completely cut sugar from our diets, and this is one of the most satisfying meals that is completely, well, it's almost carb-free. There's a few carbs in the lettuce and in the peppers and probably in the sriracha, but that's it. About 30 seconds left on my timer. Just time to slice my tomato. The bread knife really does a fantastic job on so many things. I sliced the cheese. This is it's Havarti, jalapeno Havarti, and I sliced it. Next time I'm going to buy the Cracker Barrel pepper jack. It's already sliced, and so that'll be more convenient. And then I have normal medium cheddar slices, because not all the kids like pepper jack cheese. And then the last thing I have here is an avocado. So I buy my avocados at Costco. I don't know what makes them so much better at Costco, but nobody else makes avocados, or rather sells avocados, like Costco does. They are bigger, they're creamier, they ripen nicer, they stay ripe longer without, you know, turning. They're about $7 for a bag, and I pick one up every time I go there on the advice of a friend of mine. So I hear it, the timer. I'll be right back. Look at that. So can you see the peppers they're perfectly roasted. They're actually starting, the skins are actually starting to lift off. The bacon is perfect. The onions are nicely cooked, but they're not starting to char yet. And the burgers look perfect to me. So I'm gonna put one of these together. The cheese goes on so that it can start to melt. Okay. And then on goes the burger. Some of the sauce. A jalapeno. Oh, those jalapenos are so good. And 2 pieces of bacon. I cooked 1 strip cut in half for each burger patty. So 2, and then one of these little slices of onion. And if you do it carefully, it all stays together like a little patty. And then on this one, I'm gonna put just a slice of avocado and the top bun. Just like that. How do you think you'd like that? I do have buns here for the boys who eat buns, but for the rest of us who don't, we'll eat it this way and quite enjoy it that way. So I hope you've enjoyed the sheet pan burgers. I hope you give them a try. They do get 5-star ratings around my house.